Hello again and welcome to this one-on-one. I'm Martin Falls, so very pleased to have with us someone who is 103 years young, but soon to be 104 years young. And the reason I say young, you're going to find out when we come back from the break. My guest today is approaching 104 years old, and you would never know it. And you will find out why I just said that. It's all next on One-on-One. One-on-One is brought to you by the Law Office of Waits and Downer. Explain to me, why were you doing work with the Chinese? Were you commissioned by the U.S. to work?
Because I wanted to fly.
Okay.
And I did not go to college. I was a buck private, and I was a reservist, not a regular Army. Anybody wanted me to fly, I'll fly for them. The government agreed. The government was helping China. Because China had a civil war before the war. They stopped doing the war and got back at it again after the war. And I got involved in that one.
So the U.S. would sort of sign off on what you were doing. Of course, you had to be helping an ally.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Otherwise, they wouldn't sign off on it.
And I got involved all over China, God, until finally at the end, they said, you've got to go home. So I went to Shanghai and got aboard the SS Katishan Bay. This was an I think it had little Tomcats from the Navy. A Navy air carrier was a little ship that would use a deck for only. So took 28 days to get from Shanghai to Frisco. It's 17 knots. Over and over, and they stopped here.
When did you get married?
1943 was my first venture to a girl who eventually turned alcoholic so supreme she had to die. She was sick. So finally, I didn't marry for quite a while thereafter. I remarried later on in life when I was way up there. I married a girl named Mary who was a graduate of Smith College. Now that Smith is women's college, is equivalent to Harvard Yale. It's way up there. She was brilliant. And I met her somewhere during the last part of that middle. I was at the Joint Chief of Staff. I was way up there then. And I remember seeing her. I said, my God, that's a beautiful woman. And I asked questions. They said, well, she's single now. Her husband left her, and she's alone. And she probably would be interested. So I stood off at a distance, and I got to know a lot about her. Smith gal, brilliant, had 3 kids. But I looked at her, she was gorgeous. So finally, she being the brilliant woman she was, took over me and came straight at me and said, you've been staring at me. Well, I wasn't a dummy. Right away, I knew right now. She's interested in being remarried. No question about this. And I said, that's true, I did. And I told her why. And very careful words. I want to know you. And we really connected. I mean, we did. So, she was gorgeous. So anyway, I said, let's sit down and talk. So we talked for an hour, and of course, we really agreed. That was a Thursday. Friday, we met on a Friday night, Friday afternoon, and we talked for hours. Saturday evening, we talked, and Sunday and Monday we got married. That quick. But
y'all talked right down the wedding aisle.
We knew each other so well. And it worked out exactly like that. For 35 years, it was perfect. Beautiful.
So y'all knew right away.
Absolutely.
But this time, she approached you because unlike the school bus, you wouldn't approach the other girl.
That's right. She approached me because
you.
I automatically knew she was hungry. She was willing.
Yeah, but if she wouldn't have approached you, you might have never known her.
That's right. Right. I might have, I don't know.
You were a little shy.
I don't know. That's a good question, but I know one thing. When she got to me, I was ready for her. So and I knew a little bit about her. Yeah?
Fate brought y'all together.
Yes. And she was brilliant. She was a brilliant woman.
Yeah. How was it being around somebody so smart?
I loved it. And not only that, we held hands. And sometimes we had, oh God, we walked down the street. They called us the blister kids because we would never let go. We really did. It was a perfect marriage.
I heard some of your family talking about that last time. Y'all held hands a lot, huh?
Almost all the time. They call us the blister kids. We never let go.
Wow.
Sometimes two hands. Oh, it worked. It was a perfect fight.
Well,
And when she drank, a little bit of drank, and she also smoked. I couldn't stop her. So after about 30 years, all of a sudden, she died, and that just killed me. That was pitiful. I never smoked, I never drank. And that has a lot to do with living.
yeah, yeah.
But she drank and smoked, and it paid her, it killed her.
For all of your cases, including those with catastrophic significance, call Waits and Downer Law Firm.
Hi, I'm Martin False, the owner of HTV, and I just wanted to thank my team because each and every day we come in not always looking for the negative stories. We look for the positive stories. We have so many positive people and events that shape our area. So when you're tired of all the bad things happening in the world, tune into HTV for a little positive attitude. Thanks for viewing, and thanks to a great staff. What's the funnest thing you ever did in 103 years?
Funniest?
The funnest, the thing that, besides flying, because I knew you were going to say flying, but what made you laugh the most? What was the funniest thing? Was there a comedian around, like Red Buttons or whatever?
Yes. Yes, I did. I enjoyed that.
Were you a Lawrence Welk kind of person? Remember you had the orchestra?
I was classical from the 5 years old. Classical.
Mitch Miller?
No, didn't watch him a little bit. 102 people. Oh, and my son's Pittsburgh Symphony, because he got it from me. And my daughter liked symphony.
So you were sophisticated in your own way.
And never went to college, but I was classical from the time I was 5 years old. Classical. Oh my God, I used to go in the front yard, no one liked it. And listen, Sunday afternoon was Dr. Frank Black, Pittsburgh Symphony, classical. Oh God, I loved it.
Did y'all listen to the fights?
Fights, now and then. Joe Louis.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was okay.
Joe Louis, Rocky Marciano.
My dad had a rig radio and he put in the back room of the house where the blacks could come and listen to it. The blacks used to go in the backyard and he'd turn the fights on because the blacks wanted to hear Joe Louis.
Yeah, and you know, that's a myth that a lot of people don't realize, is that the whites and the blacks, although the times were different, a lot of them got along on the plantation.
Yes. My dad did, especially. He said to my mom one day, he said, you know what? If I am too friendly with the blacks, I'm afraid the other overseers might not like it, so I have to be a little careful how I treat them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And when he died, they lined the street from miles because the blacks did. They recognized that he was on their side.
And so although the times were different back then, people were still people. You treated them right.
And he was very careful. He couldn't go too fast because he said that I would not be liked.
I guess the times are different now.
Yes, they were, yeah.
What scared you the most that you heard as a young man or a child that was happening in the world? What scared you the most?
What scared me the most was Adolf Hitler.
Yeah.
Adolf Hitler.
He was bigger than life, too.
We had a guy named George Patton. You know General Patton?
Yeah.
That was Hitler hated him anymore in the world. Patton was a young kid. He used to treat his family as warlord when he was practicing being a warrior every time he was a child, when he was going to be a general one day. Mm-hmm. And George Patton was quite a general. That man, when he stood in front of a Jeep, right inside, standing up, he never lost a battle, ever. He never lost. All the way to Italy, South America, and he crossed over to Sicily, crossed into Italy, crossed into Germany. We used to admire him. Mm-hmm. He'd stand up in front of the Jeep, stand up in the air. He was never lost a battle.
Hitler was just scary to everybody.
Yeah, scared of Hitler, oh yeah. So when we invaded, the United States government had Patton stand up the north side of England to make the Germans aware that he might be going across, and of course he invaded the other way. I remember vividly a lot about World War II, because I was involved.
For all of your cases, including those with catastrophic significance, call Waits and Downer Law Firm.
When did you know y'all had won?
When the atomic bomb went off, then we knew the war was over. Harry Truman was president. Let me tell you, Harry Truman was the most reasonable, smartest little son of a bitch you ever heard of. That guy was brilliant. He's the one that said, if you don't like the blacks, get out. He didn't say that bluntly, but you either get along with the blacks and say I have war with you or leave. He was brilliant. He really was a smart man.
Yeah. And he's the one that made the decision to drop the bomb, but they would test bombs before. My dad was at 2 sites in Bikini Island. They had other ones in Nevada, and they were testing them before they used them. Let me ask you, when you were flying around the atomic bomb,
Yes.
that's what affected your eye, right?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Okay. I was flying westbound, and the atomic bomb was on the left. I had a major general in the rear, which he was the one that wanted to see it. I was the pilot. There were 2 of us, but one aborted. Only 2 of us left, me and him. So we were decked down, eyeglasses on, and the bomb went off to the left side about 10 miles, 12. And when it went off, you did slowly took off the transponder and slowly turned left because the bomb blast was going down. And you looked at it. All right. As a result of that, we began to have cancers. And the Air Force knew that, but the ground was okay, but we were the ones that were bad, 2 of us. Well, then I went to Washington to see how he was doing. And I talked to his wife, and he died other reasons. So I was the only one left, having hit that atomic bomb on the left. And the government owned me. They took care of me for the rest of my life. And they kept it work until I lost my left eye, couldn't fly anymore. But they watched me for a year after. Sometimes they would put me to sleep and operate on me.
What site was that where the bomb went off?
Near Nevada, way out there on
Nevada.
the West Coast, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was...
It was an ugly blast.
yeah, that was a big one.
Oh, God.
It was a big, because in Bikini, first one was a dud. I'll say it was a dud. It's still pretty good, but Daddy said it was a dud, but he said that second one wasn't a dud.
That's right, it wasn't.
Daddy was 13 miles away.
Yes, something
Yeah.
like that. But we hit direct. And they just didn't know.
Radiation, huh?
Yeah. It really, oh, yeah. Harry Truman didn't know about the atomic bomb. When he went to Washington, D.C., he said, what's an atomic bomb? Because Roosevelt didn't tell him. So he said, well, the American people paid for it, let's show it.
Yeah.
And so he had dropped the first one.
Yeah, we got the guy from Germany to show us how to make the bomb, right? He was a defect. He's the one that, I'm pretty sure I'm correct in saying that, but he was a brilliant guy, defected from Germany, comes to us and develops the atomic bomb.
And let me tell you about Harry Truman and his wife. His wife, I think, Bess Truman. Okay, Bess Truman was a powerful woman. And he called her the boss. Harry Truman, as powerful as he was, he still called her the boss. And so he said to her one day, Bess, we're in Washington, I'm the president. You have got to get known. You have got to know the press. Otherwise, my presidency needs it. So finally, Bess Truman said, all right. So she got in the White House, got in the corner and said, 4 women only. So they had 4 women press, New York Times, Washington, I named them all 4. And they all got in front of her. She named, when they asked her a question, she would say yes or no, or maybe a short answer, see, all standing in front of her. And finally, one of the women looked at Mrs. Truman and said, Mrs. Truman, how are we going to get to know you? And here was her answer. You won't. Bang! We heard about it, we wow! And when Harry Truman was off, she said, let's go home. She took him home. He went back.
Yeah.
That was Harry Truman's wife, Beth. Powerful. I'll never forget that.
So let me ask you some off-the-cuff questions. You believe in UFOs?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, so there's no aliens.
No.
Okay?
I've got to see them.
Yeah.
Don't you think so?
Yeah, you're one of those people that has to have a little proof. How about Bigfoot? You believe in Bigfoot?
No.
See, now I believe in Bigfoot.
What do you mean? Is that the guy on the West Coast that was supposed to be an animal or something?
Yeah.
Like? Well, why didn't you get a picture?
I'm trying.
You won't get it.
They got a lot of people with pictures, but they're all blurry. Can anybody get a real clear picture? But the aliens in Roswell, New Mexico, you didn't believe all that?
Oh, God, no. Do you believe it? You know, I've got to say
Well, I
it.
sure have my doubts. When they show you all that, what went on and everything, it makes you think. What do you do for fun?
Oh, fly. Oh, God. Without a fly, boat. I had boats. Mm-hmm. I had little boats, middle boats, what boats. I really did.
What was your favorite boat?
My favorite boat was a little 10 horsepower, thin, curved boat that was 26 feet long. It could do 28 miles an hour and just skim all over especially with white wall.
Yeah.
You know, white weather, because they would float above the weather.
Yeah.
Too heavy would plow into it. So every time the weather got bad, I'd run out my boat.
And what did you use that boat for?
Just for fun.
Yeah?
Oh, now and then fishing, but mostly for fun.
Were you a big fisherman?
Not really. Not really. I had a big pier, and in front of the pier was, what was it? Oysters.
Yeah?
Yeah, oysters. And then after that, oysters was crabs, and then fish. All oyster, crab, fish, all in one row. I love that.
Did you eat a lot of that, or you just like to catch them?
I ate it fresh. It was fresh.
Yeah.
For all of your cases, including those with catastrophic significance, call Waits and Downer Law Firm. This one-on-one program has been brought to you by the law offices of Waits and Downer.